back. You're watching Startup Central. I'm Nayantara Rai. Remember, this is the brand new Startup Central dedicated to, of course, startups, but also technology, innovation, disruption, anything that has to do with the new economy. We just had Rajan Anandan, a serial angel investor and the former Google India head, talk about how India will have at least 100 unicorns by 2025. Could Bigbasket be one of them? What we can tell you is that Bigbasket is looking at $1 billion of revenue in a couple of years. How's it going to achieve that? What are the new innovations that we can expect from Bigbasket? Well, here's a very special report by my colleague Rahul Dyama.
Well, online grocery is seeing a lot of action, new players, the tech at play, and how Indians are also really adopting to this. I decided to come down to the fresh produce warehouse of Bigbasket on the outskirts of Bengaluru. Why Bigbasket? Because they did become a unicorn recently, and the focus on the business, the strategy is something that has kept them on path. And I've managed to drag Hari Menon, the CEO and co-founder of Bigbasket, after a lot of persuasion to the warehouse here. Hari, thank you so much for taking out the time and joining us on ET Now. You know, unicorn, when you started the business years back, did you see the fact that you would expand so early? Indians would take up to grocery in this way because no one thought about online grocery kicking off in India in the way that we've sort of seen in pan out over the few years. What does the unicorn status tag really mean for Bigbasket?
Actually, Rahul, unicorn really doesn't, in that sense mean too much. It's business as usual. There is no change. We're happy that, we get recognized like this by the investing community, and that's all that, that makes us feel good. When we started, we were obviously very, very skeptical about, one category, and that's really the reason that I decided to get you here. Is this whole fresh produce and the fruits and vegetables business. How quickly will customers adopt to it? Because we were clear strategically that we will go after fruits and vegetables and the fresh business from day one. We will cover the entire city from day one, and we'll make sure that everything that we do will have a lot of fresh produce in it. So it's a very strategic piece for us because we believe that this differentiates us completely from from anybody else. So we spent significant amount of time, and that was what we were skeptical about. All that is gone. I think people have adopted extremely well to this whole piece, and there are people buying a lot of it now.
I'll come to the bit on the fresh produce category, but the funds that you've raised, Hari, where would you be deploying them? What are the big future bets of Bigbasket to not only be a pure play grocery, online grocery player, but move beyond and cater to different demands that online consumers are having across the country?
So three things, Rahul. Actually, the entire fundraise of 150 million that we've put together is primarily to do three things and achieve three things. One is that it will essentially fund growth and fund expansion of three new businesses that we've just set up. We will get a full year this year for those businesses because we set them up, towards the latter part of last year. First one being the business called BB Daily. This is our entry into the fresh produce subscription business led by fresh milk, and that's what we will do. Delivery happens in one slot during the day, which is 5:30 to 7:30, in the morning. People order it the previous day till the previous night till about 10 o'clock. You can also subscribe to it. You can actually order for the next 1 month and say, this is what I want for the next 1 month. This we are already set up in all our 10 tier 1 cities. And we are so happy to tell you that we do close to about 80,000 orders on that business right now per day. As against close to about 200,000 orders that we do in our regular BB business which we achieved in the last 8 years. So that's what this business gives you. Second is BB Instant, which is basically our unmanned vending machines. So we are investing a lot into bringing these machines here. We plan to install about 3,000 machines. And third is the business of beauty. We are actually now expanding our personal care business to now bring in beauty. So we will bring in a lot of new products around makeup, around fragrances, around imported luxury items, and build that business out, we will have close to about 30,000 additional SKUs of products just on beauty. So that's the first investment that we are making into 3 new businesses and first application of our new money that we are bringing in. The second thing that we're going to do is invest into infrastructure and technology in a big way. Technology investments is obviously to improve customer experience and the whole experience that we are providing to customers. Infrastructure is to build out a whole host of dark stores and smaller warehouses that we're actually building across the city to essentially start getting closer to a 2-hour delivery model, and that's really what we want to achieve. And third is, of course, investment in customer acquisition and marketing, because we are going to double our business nearly this year, and we would get very close to becoming a $1 billion business from a sales standpoint. From an exit run rate standpoint, as on March 2020, we would be $1 billion.
Lot of headlines for us in what you've described as the focus areas. But one thing that has caught my interest is being in the business of grocery, especially fresh produce, fruits and vegetables, is a tough nut to crack. So how have you been able to do it? This massive, close to 1 lakh square foot of space is largely dedicated to fresh produce. How do you go around ensuring that the turnaround time, catering to Indian tastes, and also ensuring that the wastage is also sort of capped at the bare minimum?
I think there are 2 parts to it. I think from a consumer side, I think we've kind of understood a lot on consumer behavior around this category now. And you would be very happy to note that today fruits and vegetables contributes close to 20% to our business. The equivalent that in a physical store that you will see will be about anywhere between 5 to 7%. And that's the difference it's made. And that's because we've understood consumer requirements, consumer preferences. So what we've done is actually we've just got closer to the farmer. Close to 80% of what we sell comes directly from farmers. Just to give you a sense of numbers that this business will generate, last year this business standalone, the fruits and vegetables business itself, was close to 600 crores. This year it will be close to about 1200 crores from a business size perspective.
That's quite massive. Right?
Correct. 80% of that comes directly from farmers, and the way we've done this is essentially by setting up what are called collection centers, right, where we've gone closer to the farming locations. Today we have 38 of them. Each collection center has a strong buying and a strong quality team that grades and sorts. More importantly, it's got what are called agronomists who actually work very, very closely with farmers, gives them inputs, gives a lot of stuff back into the buying team, saying what are the harvest cycles that the farmer will go through. All this is captured in an app which we work with a company called Cropin. All farmer details are captured. And so this is what the agronomist does, actually working closely with the farmer. We work with close to about 8,000 farmers today, which in this coming year we will double. So we'll work with about 15,000 farmers. More importantly, we've set up a system where they get paid for every supply they make on day 2 directly to their bank. And that is a big game changer as far as farmers are concerned.
Hari, interesting what you're doing with the farmers, but moving beyond that from a business perspective, private labels, something that you have steadfastly focused right from the start. How significant it is, I think closer to 30% now, which is huge. How would you want to scale this up? Because from a business perspective also, it makes a lot more sense to be in control of quality, pricing, and also ensure that the unit economics are strong for the company.
Yeah, so private label is a big focus for us, right? So we are today about little over 33% from a value contribution standpoint that our private labels contribute to. Our next focus is to move this 33 to about 40%, right? And that additional 7% will largely come from the FMCG side, right? Largely, because we pretty much done what we had to do on the staples organic and a whole lot of fruits and vegetables, etc. Now this 7% is going to come largely from FMCG, and we are going to keep increasing, products that we launch there. Our strategy is threefold. First is, what are we doing in private label? So we will not have every product in a private label in every category, right? We will essentially fill gaps that we see in the market. So there are categories where there are gaps, we will fill them. Second is, we will create differentiating products. So for example, organic ghee, we will not do normal ghee. We will do organic ghee. organic honey. So we will differentiate in categories. Number two. Number three, if there is one category which has only one large leading player, we will be a good number second. So this is the strategy for our private labels. What does it do for us? It essentially gets our brand to consumers' homes at a price point which will be lower than similar products in that category. What it also does to us is that it gives us increased gross margins and hence helps our unit economics. So it's a complete win-win.
You know, I've heard to gross margins being mentioned so many times, not only private labels, but how you drive business across. So that's interesting. That brings me to the question on profitability. Although, you did mention about the fact that by the end of this year, $1 billion, something that we haven't heard from an online grocery player, at least in terms of revenues, but breaking even in cities. How crucial is profitability, and does all of this sort of take you to a larger plan for an IPO in the coming years?
Extremely crucial because, from day one, Rahul, our focus has always been on profitable scale. Because I think, a lot of people say that when you embark on scale, it impacts profitability. If you focus on profitability, it impacts scale. We don't believe in it, right? We think that we should grow profitably. We are very clear about it, right? We will make certain investments in marketing, and you will keep that, that balance will keep shifting here and there. But we've been clear about this from day one. This year, I think we are building a very efficient model, which actually gives us lots of unit economics, benefits around that. Our private labels will kick in where our gross margins start going up, right? Our average order values are going up. So we are doing multiple things to make sure that our last mile delivery costs start coming down drastically. So this year, by the end of this year, all our tier 1 cities would have broken even, right? All our tier 2 cities will start becoming operationally profitable, which means we'll cover for variable costs. If you cover for variable costs, then you're done, because then all you have to do is cover for fixed costs, which increased business will keep giving you, because fixed costs don't go up, right? So this is the focus this year.
In terms of competition, I know I've asked you this year on year, the likes of Amazon, Flipkart, now we have Reliance looking at this space, Dunzo, Swiggy. Everyone now wants a pie of grocery because they now say it's the daily touch point and we want to be there. How does Bigbasket view this? Do you see yourself continuing to be the market leader in the space, or with the shake-up, with Reliance also planning to enter, you want to see how the space will really pan out?
Rahul, I've seen some of the interviews we've done together earlier. My answer doesn't change one bit actually, and because we believe in it, we really believe in it. We will continue to be the number 1 player in the online grocery space, no doubt about it. Our stated goal is to become amongst the top 3 players in the overall grocery ecosystem, including physical stores, right? We are getting there. We will get there very soon, but leadership in the online grocery space, we will keep, hopefully, right? I think this market needs more players, and when more players come, the market starts expanding on its own, right? People make more noise. There's more advertising. Lot more people hear about this online grocery piece. You will see lot more customers coming in. Market will grow. It's the single biggest sized market from a retail perspective. Retail is a $900 trillion business today. 60% is grocery, right? It's humongous. So $600-700 billion, right? But 5% or 4-5% of that is modern trade, which itself is so large. There is no way one player can actually service this market.
Of course, it will be
so you need more players, markets will open up, and I think it will benefit everybody.
Top trends that Hari did talk about is Bigbasket is of course on an expansion spree, new offerings, infra, and also ensuring that they push the button on the marketing really. But all of this really boils down to one, catering to the Indian sensibilities. Anything that the customer wants, Bigbasket wants to ensure that they're there fulfilling that demand. Thanks again, Hari. Wonderful conversation.
Thanks,
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, that's Bigbasket and its plans to become a unicorn.